Okay, so hopefully you've already watched the previous video on arithmetic series. We're going to be applying the formulas that we found there. So just before we start this video, let's just make sure we're all aware of the formulas that we need. So we can say that Sn equal to n over 2 u1 plus un. We can also say that S of n is equal to n over 2. And then we've got 2 u1 plus n minus 1 d, and we may well need our sequence formula, and that is that un equals u1 plus n minus 1d. I've written them in black up there. We can come back and refer to those throughout this video. So first of all, let's look at this first question. We have to find the sum of 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 13 all the way up to the first 50 terms. So let's start writing out, as always, what is it that we know? Well, u1 equals to 4. That's definitely true. We've got the difference. We can see the difference between the terms is 3. We also know it's 50 terms. So we have n is equal to 50. So let's have a little think then. What formulas are we going to use to find the sum? Let's pop those formulas on the board. Any idea which formula it is that you need to use? Well, it's got to be this one, because this one has an n in it, this one has a u1 in it, this one has a d in it, and none of the others are going to help us find that sum. Okay, we don't have un, we don't have the last term, so we can't use this one here. Okay, so let's write it out again. S of n equal to n over 2 2u1 plus n minus 1d, and let's just start putting those numbers in and seeing if we can work it out. So we're going to have 50 over 2, 2 times 4, plus 49 times 3, and that's just me swapping in the numbers. We haven't really done much simplifying yet, so that will be 25 multiplied by 8 plus 147. So that is going to be 25 multiplied by 155. And if I work that out on a calculator, that is going to be 3,875. And we've done it. That wasn't too bad at all, that one. Okay, let's move on to this one then. So find the sum of minus 6 plus 1 plus 8, and so on and so on and so on. Right, okay, so before I even do anything, have a good think about what we can do. Let's put those formulas up there again so you can see them. All right, what have we got? What do we know? And what can we use? Well, first of all, we can certainly say some things. So let's write down all the information we know. u1 is equal to minus 6. We have the common difference. Well, that is 7 on this occasion. Now, interestingly, we also have the last term. So we have the nth term. We know un is equal to 141. But the problem here is that we have not got n. We don't know how many terms are in our list. So both of the formulas for the sum, both of these two on the left-hand side, they both have an n in them. So we're going to have to find that n before we can use either of them. So we'll have to start off with this. So we know that 141 is our un. So we have u1 and we have d. Let's try and find out the number of terms first. So we'll sub in the values. We're going to have minus 6 plus n minus 1 multiplied by the common difference 7. So let's just simplify this. I'm going to write 141 is equal to minus 6 plus 7n minus 7. So 141 is equal to negative 13 plus 7n. This is going to give me that 100, well, let's add 13 to both sides. So we're going to have 154 is equal to 7n. And now if I divide through by 2, n is going to be equal to, what's that, 22. Okay, 22. So we found n is 22. And now we can use some of these formulas. Now, to save a bit of time, we can use the easier version. Let's write this down. S of n equals n over 2 u1 plus un, because we were given un in the original question. So let's pop the numbers in and see what happens. So we're going to have 22 divided by 2 multiplied by minus 6 plus 141. This is going to give us 11 multiplied by 135. If I work that out on a calculator, we're going to have 1,485. There we go, we've done it. Right, let's move on. Final question for us to have a look at here. It looks a little complicated, but I'm sure we can do it. Have a quick read and see if you can figure this one out. Well, we've got an arithmetic sequence and we've got the first term. So let's start by saying U1 is equal to 8. We've got the common difference is equal to 2. Right, now this time we've got that the sum of the terms in the sequence is 170. So S of n, and we don't know how many terms there are yet, we're going to have to find that, is 170. Okay, so what are we going to do with this? Well, let's start thinking about our formulas. And I think the one we're going to have to use is the following. So let's write it out. S of n equals n over 2, 2u1 plus n minus 1d. Because we can pop in the Sn, we can pop in the u1 and the d, which leaves us one unknown, which we can find n. And we are looking to find n, the number of terms in the sequence. So let's do that. So 170 is equal to n over 2, and then 2 times u1 is going to give us a 16, plus n minus 1 multiplied by 2. Okay, let's carry on. Now, I think at this stage, what I'm going to do is just get rid of that bracket on the right-hand side and see what happens. So we'll have 170 equals n over 2, 16 plus 2n minus 2, which is going to give us 170 equal to n over 2, 14 plus 2n. And I think we can expand that now, and I'm going to cancel, let's write it out so you can all see that, right? So we're going to have 14n over 2 plus 2n squared over 2. And this is going to give us 170 is equal to an n squared plus 7n. And now we've got a quadratic. Well, we can solve quadratics. Let's move the 170 to the right-hand side. N squared plus 7n minus 170. I need two numbers that multiply to make negative 170 and are going to add to make 7. That's easier than you think. It's n plus 17 and n minus 10. 17 and minus 10 add to 7 and multiply to make negative 170. So this means that n is equal to either minus 17 or n is equal to 10. But we are in a sequence and we do not have a minus 17th line or number, do we? Negative numbers make no sense in terms of a sequence. So let's get rid of that. N is equal to 10. Okay, hopefully that has been some good examples of how you can apply these series formula for arithmetic